Super Mario Maker is an amazing tool for building levels, and with plenty of themes, items, enemies, and stage obstacles, it could be difficult to know where to start. Designing levels and games is no easy task, and while Mario Maker can make it as simple as possible, it still leaves a lot to the player. So that's why today I'm going to take you on a journey to help you build some of the most important stages in Mario games. The castle has been a series staple since the beginning. The course to wrap up a world or sometimes even the game. These are challenges to put the player to the test as they hot-footed through Bowser's fire-filled torture chambers with either a toad or a princess waiting at the goal. Now these aren't the hardest stages to design in Mario Maker. I think that belongs to the ghost houses, but they aren't the easiest. When designing a castle level, I think an important part is to make sure that the player doesn't stay still for too long but can't quite sprint through it with ease. A level that'll get the player thinking while also keeping them aware. So today I think to best show that off, I'm going to pull out the new Super Mario Bros. U level theme to give us a basic stage. And that opens us up to the hardest part, the empty canvas. As any artist knows, this is the scariest thing known to man. That and drawing on the wrong layer. Ugh. But fear not, because I'm here to help. Before starting, the best thing you can do is figure out an idea you want to base your stage off of. In this case, because I chose the new Super Mario Bros. U level theme, I think I could best operate on a level based on rising and falling lava. So to get started, I positioned the lava to rise and fall throughout the stage. Keep in mind how much room you plan on working with too. I don't want the screen to move any higher than where it starts, so to keep it that way, I'm gonna put a roof over the stage. If you want the screen to lock at base level, honestly, as long as you don't draw anything past the halfway point up and down, you should be fine. But I'm doing it for aesthetic choices. So now with our ceiling, it's both good looking and practical. Now imagine you're playing this in Endless Challenge. Due to Mario Maker not letting players carry items into the next levels for multiple reasons and game-breaking factors, the player's gonna jump into the level power-up list. So start the player out with something to grab, but don't make it super easy. Give them an option to lose it, like right here with the mushroom and the lava. Now that we have the setup built and ready to go, the most important part when designing a castle and lava stages is to heat things up to keep the player moving. Try to make platforms like this to force the player forward, but don't forget the lava bubbles so they aren't too hasty. And you can't rule out a castle staple, the thwomps. Players' first instincts will be to run as fast as they can past them though, so slow them down with some burners to get them thinking. On the note of getting them thinking, an important part of castle levels are timing, and this is where our lava is going to come in handy. Lower the next set of platforms below the lava's max level, creating a small piece to make the players sit and think about their next move. They better be careful though, the longer they think, the hotter it gets. As you build, don't forget some objects can be set to different timings like the burners, so feel free to spice things up for some extra challenge. A staple in Mario castles are split paths. Or well, mostly in retro castles, but thankfully we can't make those stupid levels where you have to pick the right path and the stage repeats itself like from Mario 1 and a couple other Mario games too. But for some depth, we can split the stage up. The only problem here is making them equal in challenge. By now is around the time you've introduced your players to the mechanics you'll be using, like thwomps, firebars, burners, and rising lava. So now's the time to spice things up, ramp up that difficulty, and throw in some risk-reward areas. For example, it's about time the player got a power-up, but don't make it too easy for them. Set it in an area they have to rush to grab it. For example, raise the lava on them. It can't be too easy to grab a fire flower or everybody would have one. Now that they could potentially have a fire flower, we should probably make use of it. Sure, that extra hit is nice, but throwing in some enemies might make it feel worth the jump. Looks like we've just about reached the halfway point of the level too. So let's throw the player a bone with a safe checkpoint area. Give them a breather. Now that the player thinks they're safe with a checkpoint, bring up the difficulty. Remember, we chose the new Super Mario Bros. U theme for our level, which means we have more moves than some other ones. Most importantly, a wall jump. If we have it, why not utilize it? Make a segment about carefully timing a wall jump out of danger to keep the player engaged, but keep it fair, because sometimes it's tough balancing a fair challenge and an unfair challenge. Now that the level is nearing the end, we want to ramp up the difficulty for one last challenge before we get to the boss, so take everything you've learned and put it all together right here. A thing I've learned about Mario games is right before a boss fight, they like to hide a power-up. So why don't we do the same, but make it clear it's there for players keeping an eye out. Also, make sure to wall the boss out of this area so he can't roam free while the player is gearing up for the fight too. He may throw fire to keep our little buddy on their toes, but that's acceptable. Follow that up with a warp door, and here comes the final fight. Now here's where the challenge comes in. Just leaving Bowser here makes it super easy. He's slow and small. Just jump over him and you're good. No. I like to spice things up. Add a roof blocking the axe so you simply can't just jump around him. It makes for a small but simple obstacle. Throw in a couple enemies we've used before. Now look, this is a little harder than before, right? Play around with it and see what works. Now our boss might be done and the stage may be playable, but it's not quite ready to go. Throw some coins in to entice the player and reward them. It'll liven up your castle while you're at it. Make it look a little less empty with some more ceiling areas. Oh, and give Bowser a boss theme. It helps heat up the place. Now this is starting to look good. Don't ever forget to play test it and check for soft locks. Nothing's worse than getting soft locked. Here, let's do a quick run through. Now things are looking great. I want you to take this as more of a jumping off point rather than a step-by-step tutorial. This is a pretty basic castle, so play around with these ideas and give me some new designs. Don't copy it block for block because the wonders of Mario Maker are seeing everyone's lovely creations. So don't forget about stuff like sub-areas that I didn't use. Make it your own. And when you do, send me the course ID so I can play through it. Hopefully this was helpful in some way or form, and good luck designing out there. Oh, and if you want to try the level for yourself, here's the course ID.